Welcome back to Club News. Another financial year has raced by, and if you're like most people, you probably didn't spend much time last year thinking about your super fund. Today we have Stefan Strano, the head of marketing at Club Plus Super, here to explain what our industry super fund is doing to support employers and to help members get the most from their superannuation. Welcome, Stefan.
Thank you, Carissa.
Now, so the end of the financial year is probably a good time for us to consider our superannuation and how much attention we're all paying to it.
Yeah, it certainly is, and from July this year, the superannuation guarantee, that's the money that the employer must put in for their staff into their super, is going from 9.25% to 9.5%. And that's going to 12% over the coming years. And that's, if you stop and think about it, that's 12% of your money is going into super over the course of your working life. That's quite a lot of money and worth paying attention to. But at the same time, the peak industry superannuation body, ASFA, tells us that the average the average super balance for people nearing retirement isn't anywhere near what they need it to be to sustain their income needs for the retirement they want to live. So it means if you're faced with three choices in many instances. One is work longer and retire later. Two is scale back your expectations for retirement. Or three, the earlier you start putting more money into super, the better.
There's also a number of new federal government requirements which will hit clubs and employers as well. What is Club Plus Super doing to help club employers to transition to those new rules?
Absolutely. The strongest super reforms are still underway, and the most pressing one for employers at the moment is the super stream component. That's all about electronic data standards. In the end, it'll make things a lot better actually for superannuation overall, because it'll mean faster movements of money and more online and transparent, and that's a good thing. But it means that employers have to stop sending checks and spreadsheets by email and have to upload their super payments, and what we can provide them is a centralised clearinghouse to enable them to meet their super obligations with very easily. It means that if they have staff that are paying into a dozen different super funds, we can simply facilitate that very easily through one upload, and we can disperse the money. It doesn't have to be even into our fund.
Are there other new developments happening at Club Plus Super?
There are. We've just brought an international shares investment option on board. So that means if you want to have more choice with your super and you want to invest in a portfolio of global fund managers that invest all over the world, that are hand-picked by our investment committee and an asset consultant, you can, and that completes a range of 7 different choice options that range from cash and conservative to a balanced My Super product to growth, high growth, or Australian shares only. So if you want more control, you can have it. If you want total control, we also offer a direct investment option.
All right, so what is the direct investment option? How does that work?
Yeah, much like a self-managed super fund, but without the accounting costs and the administration hurdle every year. And also importantly, you are not taking on the responsibilities of being a trustee for the fund and all the regulatory responsibility that comes with. But you do have the ability to invest directly. So a couple of years ago we brought the ability for pension members to invest directly in term deposits. That was very much in demand, and since then we've broadened it to be shares and exchange traded funds. What that means is if you, Carissa, want to invest in BHP or Woolworths shares with your super money, or Telstra shares, you can. If you want to invest in emerging markets or the US S&P 500, you can. If you have a view on gold bullion, you can invest it with your super as well. So if you're an active investor, you have the ability through a completely APRA regulated fund.
I'd like to say that I have a view on gold bullion, but I don't think I should be giving out that sort of advice to anyone. I understand you've also launched a new brand strategy called Your Club for Good. Can you tell us a bit about it?
Yeah, definitely. We did a bit of a self-discovery, I guess, towards the end of last year, and tried to work out, okay, what are the strengths and weaknesses of our business, and what values do we stand for? What are the challenges we face as well? And we surveyed more than 1,500 people, members of the fund, employers that we deal with. We looked outside and surveyed many of the staff and directors as well. And what we came up with was a recurring strength of the business, that the personal level of service that we're able to offer at the size that we operate means that we have the scale to offer all the services of financial planning business, this direct investment option, all those sort of things. But we're still able to give people a very personal level of service and operate through the club network. Our member service managers can actually access and work directly with people. But a weakness is a lot of our members don't realise that, and they default into our fund when they're in a club, they move on to another job, they default into another fund and collect a series of funds, and they can miss out on understanding the true benefits of our fund and getting the most out of them.
What are some of those benefits?
Yeah, we offer automatic life insurance, income protection as well, which is very important for many people because it means that you're covered if anything happens to you. For 90% of your income plus the superannuation guarantee payment will continue for up to 2 years, that kicks in after just 21 days of something going wrong, and that really is a real support network for the staff of a club that are with Club Plus Super. There's also very low cost financial planning that's accessible to everybody, and you can pay from your super so it's not out of your pocket. But also this level of service. We run workshops and really our member service managers are available to help people understand their super. A lot of educational support as well.
What do those workshops cover exactly?
Yeah, different things for different people. That's important. We do workshops specifically for younger people, 18 to 30, and try and really track down their lost super, bring it all together, and help them set their investment strategies. For 30 to 45, it starts getting, if you have family and mortgages and things like that, insurance becomes a bigger deal. So ensuring that you have the sufficient insurance, looking at tax-effective strategies. After 45 and over, starting to think about transitioning to retirement at some point. What's the strategy? What are the ways to maximise government benefits as well? And we do specific workshops for women. We do specific workshops for aged care, retirement planning as well.
Why specific workshops for women?
Yeah, well, women, again, ASFA have some statistics that show that the average balance for women is only around 60% of the average man's balance, and women on average live 4 years longer. So if the average Australian is underprepared for retirement, the average woman is more so. But more so than that, what we found with some clubs that have a lot of female staff is if you've taken time off work to look after family or loved ones, that's a period of your working career that you haven't been paying into super. And that creates this situation. But you're also probably very time poor, and having the time outside of your working life to get your finances in order and sort out your super is probably so low down on the priority list, but so important for you to do. So we run these workshops in the place of business at the club, and that 1 hour of power, we call it, could be make a massive difference later in that person's life.
And finally, just briefly, what are say 3 good tips for people out there looking to get their super in order?
Yeah, if I had to narrow it down to 3, first thing would be set your investment and insurance strategy. Talk to your fund because they can help you do that. Secondly, make sure that it is all in one place and not paying too much in fees. And thirdly, start considering putting a little bit more money in super every now and then, because the earlier you start can make a massive difference.
Well, thank you very much for joining us today, Stefan.
Thank you for having me, Chrissa.
That's all for today's edition of Club News. We're back on the 8th of July, and remember that every episode is available for viewing at the Club's New South Wales website. Goodbye.